All I can say is I was right on Tuesday. I told you that I was going to get bombarded by these people. I've had a few on at me. Guess what? I really don't care. Well. Welcome back once again to the Moore Army podcast on this Thursday. I sit here this morning on yet another beautiful day here in sunny Northern Ireland, looking at some of the stuff that I've received since Tuesday's podcast in my Instagram inbox and my email, and I just laugh so hard. I knew there was going to be a backlash from Tuesday. I knew it for a fact. I knew it was coming. And I even said to Lewis last night, son, I'm dreading opening this inbox tomorrow for the podcast because there's going to be somebody in there who's just wanting to nitpick and trying to make me out to be this big evil person that I'm not. In case you're wondering what I'm talking about these loony bin oil activists, these people who live on another planet, not planet Earth, that I talked about on Tuesday's podcast. I was talking about that balloon head who'd done the protest at the World Snooker Championships, and obviously other protests and stuff. And all I can say is that I just read some of the messages and I just laughed so hard, but I'll talk about that more shortly. Anyway, welcome back to another episode of the Moore Army podcast on this Thursday. I hope you're all having a great week out there, guys. For the people who are clinically sane, who are not insane, are actually sane, who live in the real world, I hope you're all having a wonderful week out there. Enjoying the nice weather, by the way. I haven't saw much of it, to be quite honest. But, yes, I am hopefully getting out here after I record this podcast today, because today is Thursday. As you all know, on Thursday is beer day for me. I like to have a few beers on a Thursday, and a chill out day for me, a bit of a cheat day for me, where I like to switch off from the world and kick up the feet and have a nice relaxing Thursday. But anyway, yes, we're back for, I don't know how long we're back for today, but I've actually sitting here last night thinking about it before I went to bed, because I was actually at a hockey game last night, which I'll talk about shortly. What a great night that was last night, a nice hockey game for charity. I was sitting there thinking last night, coming back in the train and going, I'm going to have to answer more questions on the podcast tomorrow, because I'm only normally answering 4 or 5 a week, and some people are writing back to me again saying, did you get my question from last week and whatnot? So I'll try and squeeze maybe a couple more into the podcast today. We're also announcing the Jackass of the Week, which you probably all know who that probably is already, but we'll talk about that too as well. A couple of wee subjects I want to talk about today as well. And also, I would like to talk about bullying on the podcast today as well. I did record a podcast the other week which never dropped about bullying, but I want to obviously talk a bit more about it because I've seen a few things popping up on social media over the last week or so, which has sort of really turned my fucking stomach and made me feel actually physically ill. Some people in this world are just nutcases. But before we go any further in the podcast today, guys, I want to do the thing I like to always call the housekeeping. Let you know how you can get in touch with us, etc. If you'd like to get in touch with the Moore Army podcast for any reason whatsoever, whether it be to ask a question, have a request, a subject you'd like to hear me talk about, or anything at all here. There's no boundaries here on the Moore Army podcast. There's no restrictions. There is no cancellation here. Which I talked about on Tuesday, by the way. It was one of the emails I actually got from people sending me because I think my podcast is disgusting. Well, then let's just switch off there, because obviously you must love me so much, the fact that you keep listening to me every week. If you'd like to get in touch with us, this is how you can do it by the following methods. First of all, email moorarmypodcast@yahoo.com. Social media, which is our YouTube channel, Facebook page, which is the Moor Army Moor Army YouTube channel on Facebook. You can drop us a wee like on there and drop us a message anytime you see fit. Posted some really good photographs on there last night, actually, from the hockey game. You want to go and check them out? Really good photographs, actually. Yeah. Also, you can contact us by Instagram, which is my Instagram, official Matthew Moore. So a lot of you do regularly, which is great to hear from you all on a regular basis. I love answering all your questions. I love talking to you all. Also, to get all your merchandise from the Moor Army podcast, all your merchandise from the Moor Army YouTube channel, and much, much more, you can go and watch all the videos back from all our channels on YouTube. Flip me thousands of videos on there from over the years. You can go to our website, which is moorarmy.co.uk. Anyway, once again, guys, hope you're all having a great week out there. As I look out my window this morning here as I'm recording this podcast, it's another beautiful day outside, and I cannot believe how stunning this week has been for weather-wise compared to what we've been getting recently, which is great. So I'm hoping to get out here today for a wee walk, maybe for an hour or two before the monsters get home from school. As you say, Thursday's my day. I love Thursdays because this is my day where I just switch off from the planet, you know. But anyway, yes, guys, what have I been up to since the last time I spoke to you? Well, I was out last night at a ice hockey charity game in Belfast at the SSE Arena. I was going to try and pronounce the name of that hockey team last night, but honestly, it's a thing for Ukraine. It was a whole big event they had on last night. It was called Hockey Can't Stop Tour. But the Belfast Giants put on a charity game last night against the Ukrainian side, which was a really good fun night. Massive crowd sellout at the SSE Arena. We even had former Arsenal and Chelsea goalkeeper Petr Cech playing for the Belfast Giants. Now, you probably heard in the news, I don't know why you're ice hockey fans or football fans out there. I'm just going to briefly touch on this story before I continue on with some of the stuff I want to talk about. But Petr Cech's a legendary Premier League goalkeeper. He's won Premiership titles with Chelsea. He's played for Arsenal. He's a well-known Premiership goalkeeper. And he's been playing ice hockey recently in the UK, and he made an appearance for the Belfast Giants last night, so it was great to see him last night at the SSE Arena, and it was a great fun game. It was a lot of funny incidents involved, and they raised over £50,000 last night for the cause. It was a great night. Lewis and I had a great time. You want to go and check out the videos that Lewis and I made from the game last night. Even if you're not a hockey fan, guys, go and check out the video we made. Obviously, you see us at the game, but obviously other things too as well. So it's available on our Moor Army YouTube channel and also Lewis's channel, Lewis Moore, on YouTube as well. If you want to go and check it out, you can. Met a couple of viewers last night. When I say a couple of viewers, met a lot. And funny enough, I should have got this young lad's name. We sat in our seats last night, and this family sat in front of us, and the two kids were a bit sort of like, oh my God, look who it is. And the mum said, oh, by the way, they watch you on YouTube. And I'm like, oh, cool. And I said hello to the young lad and all. Didn't manage to catch his name, which I'm disappointed I never caught his name. But lovely family. I was talking to the mum and all afterwards, and one of them actually got one of the players' shirts. They do a thing at the Giants games throughout the season, guys, where you win like a draw for, it's called Shirt Off the Back, where you can actually win the player's shirt as he wears in that game. And they got one of the shirts, so fair play to them, and it was nice. And we met loads of other people last night too as well, which were so lovely. Everybody who we met last night, we went round to the door where we normally go into for our season ticket seats. We went up to see some of our friends who we sit with during the season, and I met all these young ones down at the door itself, and they were coming over and saying, oh, we watch you on YouTube, and blah blah blah, and all these other ones were coming over and saying hi and all too as well. And we just met a lot of people last night, and we met people at the train station on the way back home. We met people in the arena. Guys, it was great to meet all of you last night at the arena. It was great to see you all. And we look forward to seeing you all back there next season for the Belfast Giants, because we're definitely coming back again next season. But it was a great night last night. Lewis and I had a really, really, really good time. Massive crowd. Just a really good, relaxing night. So much fun. And we got to see Petr Cech, which was great. Never got to meet him. And also afterwards, guys, this past weekend, I think I talked about it in the Tuesday podcast, the Belfast Giants completed the treble by winning the playoffs in England, in Nottingham. And we got our photographs taken last night. If you want to go to my Instagram and our Moore Army YouTube channel Facebook page, you'll see the photos. Lewis and I got our photos taken last night with all 3 trophies. We got the privilege of standing there and getting to see the trophies and got our photos taken with the trophies. So we're obviously all happy with that. And those pictures shall be framed and put up in our house. So it was a good night last night, guys. We had a really good time. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It was wonderful meeting you all last night. Whoever came up and said hello. It was just so nice to see you all. And I'm looking forward to next season to seeing you all up there again. So it was all good. And we raised a lot of money for a good cause last night. And we actually met people from Ukraine. So as well. So it was nice meeting all those people too. It was just it was really good. It was different. It was a really good night. It was a nice way to end the season. So it was. But anyway, yes, our videos are out on the YouTube channel. If you want to go and check them out, they are available to watch right now on the channel. Anyway, right, let's get on to some... Guys, I know I don't want to really talk about this again, but I talked about this on Tuesday's podcast. This whole ongoing situation with these fucking loony bins. These people who are wired to the moon, these oil protesters, these screw loose people who need to be put behind bars or put in a padded cell because they're wired to the moon. I knew this was going to happen, and I want to bring this up again today because I've had a lot of people well, not a lot, but a few, this little minority group. I had one particular one contact me the other day on Instagram, fully ranting and raving at me. I'm not even going to give this person's name because they're not even worth the time or day. But some of the comments that they were giving me was just, I don't even think they came from this planet. I think an alien or something gave birth to this person because they're just completely wired to the fucking moon. Calling me everything you could possibly think of. Called me homophobic, a racist. I should be ashamed of myself because of my comments on Tuesday's podcast. And they basically said that I should be cancelled. My channel should be taken down. I should be ashamed of myself as a parent, trying to be, in other words, I'm letting my kids live a normal life like I've lived for the last 41 years, but try and give them a better life. But these fucking this clown particular one said to me that I should be doing it the way they want me to bring my kids up by, super gluing themselves to roads and ruining horse races and snooker events and sporting events and all these fucking Looney Tunes are, I don't think so. So here's the way it's going to be, and I want to clear this matter up because I heard this morning again, these nut jobs apparently are going to be heading, 30,000 of them are apparently going to be heading towards the London Marathon this weekend. And do you know something? I hope and pray to God that the London police and the Metropolitan Police and everybody else, I would even bring the fucking army in, get these sons of bitches up by the scruff. If they want to super glue themselves to the road, fucking scrape them off the road, chuck them in the back of a police car, lock them up in a padded cell. In fact, stick them back on that fucking them boats that are illegally coming into the UK and send them off to somewhere else where they're going to be more happier. These people are fucking nuts. But anyway, yes, I'm going to say this one last time. If you do not like what I have to say, and if you think that I live my life that doesn't suit you, keep your opinions to yourself. Because I've had, this one particular one was on a rampage, like that fucking other loony bin I got the other week, saying they were going to cancel me, etc. This guy, listen, how dare, and this person's probably a student, like that moron who threw himself on top of the snooker table the other day. Tell me how to be a parent. Really? Are you a parent yourself? Have you spent, how long have I been? I'm a parent, almost 18 years now? I think I have a little bit of experience. But for you moron, to come on and constantly, even tagged my Instagram on your Instagram with all your other little fucking loopy tune friends, which I'm not going to read out your profile because at the end of the day, I wouldn't even give you the publicity. But it's not even just this person who was contacting me, all the other ones, and also these ones who are out there at the minute planning to even head to this marathon thing on Saturday. Jesus Christ, leave people alone. Let them live their life. If you don't like the way someone lives their life, there's me, for example. I get on with my life. I live a very simple life. Anybody who knows me knows that I live a very simple life. I have little pleasures in this world. The only thing I do with my life is I work hard. I do YouTube for fun. I make podcasts 2 days a week. I have football on a Saturday with my son, which we travel across this country having great times and great memories. I go watch Liverpool games. I like to go for walks in the park and everywhere else. I like to go and watch ice hockey. I go and watch football. I, go out for meals. I have a very simple, contained life. And if you are listening or watching my YouTube channel and you don't like what I do, don't watch, don't listen. But I don't go around saying to different people, I don't like who you are. I've said this before. Give me an example. You're watching television. You don't like what's on the TV. What do? You pick up the controller, you switch it off and you move on. But these people don't seem to do it. They're trying to control everybody's daily life by cancelling everything. Give you an example. Guys, you all know I'm a Liverpool man. I've supported Liverpool since I was a boy. I saw it in the news this morning that these fucking woked up fucking window lickers are now targeting the badges of Manchester United and Manchester City, saying that the clubs should change their badges because of a boat on their badge is to do with slavery. What the fiddler's foot what planet are you people on? Like, seriously, I was sent an article this morning by a guy who I'm very good friends with at football. Big shout out to Chick. Paul Graham, you call him, from football. Chick, his nickname is. Sent me a thing this morning, which is in the front page of one of the papers. Now, I don't know which paper this is, but it says on the front page, the title says, Ship Hits the Fan. Fury at all woke bid to link badges to slave trade. Listen, I don't even mind to read this here. There's there. Fans of Manchester United and Manchester City, sorry, hold on, trying to zoom this in here to read this article, are in revolt over a crazy campaign to make them ditch their historic club badges. The crests feature a ship which the left-wing critics say shambolics the slave trade. I swear on my children, I am sick to death of hearing these fucking Looney Tunes. That's just been nice. Looney Tunes. So they are. Going back the other day, this guy who jumped on the snooker table, this weirdo, found out this morning, get up and have my coffee this morning, was flicking through a couple of videos of a news channel that I rarely watch as much as what I used to. This guy is a 24-year-old or 25-year-old student, who has never worked a day of his life. Mommy and daddy are little rich champagne sippers. Yeah, this guy's been arrested 6 times, been in jail once, superglued his hand to a painting. Superglued his hand to a fucking painting. And this guy is causing more trouble and wasting more police time than anything else. If it was up to me, he would be behind bars. Put him in a cell with people who'll teach him a fucking lesson. Teach him a lesson. Kick his ass and teach him a lesson. Hit him a good slap and give this boy a dose of reality. And this would make, now I'm not saying all young ones nowadays are like this, because to be quite honest with you, there's a lot of young ones out there who are like my children, who I respect so much, especially my daughter, who now, as we speak here today on this podcast, works 2 jobs. Not one, my daughter works 2 jobs. And she's at school doing her A-levels to try and become a classroom teacher, assistant, to help, well, God love the next fucking generation. God knows what they're being fed, because they're being told over in the mainland, England, from primary school level, that the way these woke tards are running around fucking licking windows and supergluing themselves things is the way forward. There's a lot of young ones out there who are not like that, fit into the category of great, but there's a lot of young ones out there now who are just completely, it's embarrassing, and they need a slap of reality. They do. They need a fucking slap of reality and told, hey, listen, see this world you stand in? It does not spin around you. There's a lot of them walk around here thinking the world spins around them now and everything. They're owed a debt. They're owed everything. They walk around with their hand out like that balloon head who jumped on top of that snooker table. And in fact, actually got his name. Where is his name? I got his name the other day there, or actually yesterday. So I did. He's a 25, as I said, he's 25 years of age. There's it there. Eldred Whittingham, a philosophical politics and economics student at Exeter University. And apparently his parents are very wealthy. So he's one of these little rich, grammar-educated, little snooty, snobby wee fuckers who walks around thinking that he's owed everything and the world spins around him. And he's never worked a job in his life. He's never had a job in his life. And he thinks, like that other guy I talked about on Tuesday, he was on TV and he turned around and says, oh, my last thing in my life is to get a job. I'm trying to stop this thing in the world. These young ones, this makes me so fucking angry. Even when I was in my... Guys, I got married when I was 20. At 23 years of age, right? I had a mortgage. I had a wife. Baby on the way. And some of these 23-year-olds out there now are running around... multiple coloured hairs, fucking not knowing what gender they are, causing nothing but trouble, going out, super gluing themselves to traffic lights, lying across roads, throwing paint over millions of pounds worth of paintings, just causing complete trouble. When I was 23, I was working a 60, 70 hour week, full time, paying a mortgage, with a wife and a child on the way. And that's the way I was brought up, a normal way of living. As soon as I left school at 16, I was told at 16, get a job or get out. So I was working in a fucking... And why I was still continuing on my education, which I've tried to lead that moral back into my children. There's my daughter working 2 jobs now. So she has to try and get herself a bit of extra money for time with her boyfriend, and we're going away on a summer holiday. She wants to have extra spending money for herself this year, even though I always give them spending money, but she wants to bring her own money this year. You know what I mean? And then you see all these other ones out there who never want to work a day of their fucking life and want to go on TikTok and social media and sit and cry and boo-hoo and whinge because they don't get what they want, and they're crying, oh my God, the world doesn't spin around me today, I'm going to cry. You all need a good slap up the side of the head and told to wind your neck in. Like in our day, these ones at 17 and 18 wouldn't last 5 minutes. I always crack a joke with my daughter, and I know I'm rambling on a bit more about this here, about these numpties and stuff like that there, but I want to get on to the more serious subjects like the bullying and stuff right in a minute. But I always crack a joke with my daughter, and I always say to her, Brooke, I'd love to have a time machine and take you back to the early 90s. Could you imagine a child from this generation who are permanently superglued to their mobile phone? These young ones nowadays don't even know how to communicate with each other anymore. They can't even sit in the same room as each other without even the Snapchat each other when they're sitting next to each other. You know what I mean? Anyway, this is the story I always crack with Brooke all the time. I always say to her, darling, if I could take you back in a time machine to say 1990, 1991 and walk into a cafe in Belfast or a coffee shop with your smartphone, and walk in and you walk up to the counter and go, excuse me, do you have any Wi-Fi? What's your Wi-Fi password? The people behind the counter would look at you and go, Wi-Fi? Is your child on drugs? What the fuck's Wi-Fi? What? Seriously? This is the generation we live in now. They all walk around super glued to their phones, not a care in the world. Now I'm not saying all of them. I want to clear that up. Not them all. Because there is ones out there who are legitimately working their ass off to better themselves and get a better education, and they respect their elders and they're decent people, and that's fine. But there is these other ones that walk around, and it's all about their upbringing too as well. Talked about it a few weeks ago in the podcast when I grew up in Belfast. I'd say about different sides of the community and stuff like that there, about hating the other side and all that stuff and all. And again, it's an evolution thing of generational. One person has a baby and then they grow up and have a baby, and it's the way they're brought up. I mean, I'm brought up old school, but I try and teach my children old school mentality, but also let them go and be their own person. But these people, these young ones now, are just walking around super glued to their phones, not a care in the world. These little oil activists, whatever they want to call them, are all running around thinking the world spins around them and all this here. And if you say something now, it's offended them, and they're boo-hooing and crying, and they're making TikTok videos and Instagram videos and whatever else, and they're crying about their life not being so hard. And some of the ones I see online sometimes just makes my fucking piss boil. But yeah, come back to close this subject about this matter. I mean, I've had a couple the other day like saying to me, "How dare you say that about these people? You know, you should be ashamed of yourself, the father that you are, because you're not teaching this thing about fucking." Yeah, I'm gonna go in. Like, basically, they want me to stop today, and when Brooke and Lewis walk in and go, "Right, guys, everything I've taught you for like Brooke, you and you're almost 18, Lewis, you're 14. Everything I've taught you over these last lot of years doesn't mean shit, because this new generation are coming in. These morons are saying that I should be changing it, and we should be going down, and I should be teaching you how to tie yourself to a fucking lamppost, or super glue yourself to the road, or go into a museum and throw paint all over it, or go to a big major tournament live on TV and pour orange powder over yourself and look like the fucking Tango Man from the TV adverts back in the 90s. Your dad, I would actually like more than Tango Man because he was bald. Oh, I can't say bald no more, that's right, because it offends people. Seriously, fucking wind your neck in. It's unbelievable. It makes my fucking piss boil every time. Anyway, it's just... it just makes me so cross. And for you people who contacted me over the last couple of days, see, anytime you send me another email again, I'm automatically going to delete it, because I'm not even going to read it no more, because you're full of shit, a lot of you, and you're just on another planet. And if you don't agree how I live my life, I leave you be, you leave me be. Simple. That's the way it works. You live your life the way you want to do it. I'm not going to judge you. You go ahead and do whatever the hell you want. Just you keep all that crap away from me, because that's the way I look at it is. You know, people are... I saw a person the other day being interviewed on TV, many genders are racist too. Listen, you want to go and be what you want to be. I've said it 100 times before. Go and be what you want to be. You want to be a man turning into a woman, or a woman turning into a man, you want to be this or that. That's fine. I don't have to agree with you. And because I don't agree with you doesn't mean that you're going to fucking slate me and try and cancel me, because I'm not going to listen to you. I think you're full of shit. But I don't come to you and start preaching stuff at you going, "Oh, by the way, do you like football? No, you must watch it, or I'm going to get you cancelled." Bullshit. Fuck you. As the old saying goes, close this matter now. The old saying goes, live and let live. You live your life the way you want to live yours. I'll live my life the way I want to live mine. You don't like how I live my life? Keep your opinions to yourself. But if you're going to try and judge me and slate me and publicly embarrass me, then I'm going to stand up for myself and tell you where to go. So there you go. Guys, I was reading a funny wee story this morning. Some of these people are just fucking nuts in this world right now. It says here, a flight from Glasgow Airport to Tenerife was forced to divert after one passenger on board started misbehaving. A drunken Jet 2 passenger has been banned for life by the airline as he is alleged to have urinated inside the cabin. What the fuck? He must have been drunk. A flight from Glasgow to Tenerife was forced to divert as one of his passengers on board started misbehaving. His name's Eric Forrest from... I don't know where he was from, I can't even pronounce that. Started showing aggressive from the start and scaring children after becoming drunk on vodka. There you go, he must have been told he was pissed. He was alleged to have also urinated in the cabin, with the pilot forced to make an emergency landing in Faro, Portugal, to be moved by local police. Unfucking believable. Now they're pissing in fucking planes. Oh, I just don't know anymore. These people are just madness. Speaking of madness, now let's talk about this, guys. I mentioned this briefly on this podcast because a lot of you were getting back to me about it and saying, you know, you're going to drop this podcast and stuff like that there. I was going to dedicate a podcast to, you know, bullying and stuff like that there, because a lot of you have been asking me about, you know, certain situations, and I actually get quite a lot of messages from different people, like young ones, for example, like teenagers send to me telling me their story, saying that they watch my videos on YouTube because it helps them get through their day because they're being badly bullied and picked on either at college or school or university or in daily life, or they've had trauma from being bullied, being younger, and they listen to me talk every week on the podcast, or they watch the YouTube videos to try and help them. I mean, guys, as I said to you before, I've met loads of people throughout the years, different walks of life, and just saying the people who just watch our videos just to help them get through their day and stuff like that. They're not even just bullying, other things as well. Like, I've met ex-military people who've had bad PTSD from being on tour like in Afghan and things like that there, and our videos help them get through the day. Different things like that. You know what I mean? And bullying's a serious one that I get all the time from different ones, especially a lot of young ones who, and I always say this, you just don't know who's watching, you don't know who's listening to our videos on YouTube and beyond. You know what I mean? And that really, it just goes to show you the power of YouTube and the internet and everything else have on different people's life every single day. But I just thought I'd bring this up today briefly because I've seen some stuff recently, bullying videos of people being abused. Like I've seen a couple of videos in America where people are filming this on their phone thinking this is fucking funny, beating people up, pulling people's hair out, kicking the shit out of people in public, thinking it's funny because it's all for a bit of a kick and a laugh and stuff, and I wanted to obviously share, some of my experiences as well. I think I might have talked about this before, how bad I was bullied before in the past as well. Guys, I'm a victim of bullying. I mean, I was severely bullied when I was younger as well, like really, 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 really badly bullied. But again, I get this all the time, and I see all this, and especially on the most disgusting type of bullying I see right now. Okay, there is disgusting bullying where people are getting physically hit and abused and everything else. See, online bullying right now, online bullying is a fucking disgusting act. People with no balls sitting behind a computer screen who like to bully people on a regular basis. I'm a victim of bullying, as I said to you, when I was a kid growing up. I mean, I had everything done to me you could think of, possibly. Like, bullies nowadays are more cowardly than what they were in my day. When I was younger, bullies literally kicked the shit out of you and they bullied you to your face. Now they sit behind a keyboard and try and do it mentally, where they get to the point where people end up can't take it no more and like take their own life, or they end up in some mental breakdown or things like that. The bullying nowadays is more vindictive now compared to whenever I was bullied back in the day. When I was bullied, I was beaten to a pulp. I mean, I was beaten so bad. Like, I've ended up with black eyes, bruises. Give me a couple of examples. When I went to school, I had fire extinguishers spread all over me, beaten with fire extinguishers, had the shit kicked out of me because they didn't like my shoe. I didn't have a certain type of shoes. My school bag wasn't as what they thought was, so they kicked the shit out of me. I have been hung out the back of a bus door where the bus was going round the fucking roundabout on one of the old-fashioned buses here in Northern Ireland, the really old-school buses. These are these old buses with no fucking power steering or anything like that. I've had my fucking school blazer set on fire with cigarettes. I've had cigarettes put out on me. I've had the shit kicked out of me in the toilets. I've had my head stuck down the toilet. I've been beaten up in showers. All these different things that happened to me over the years. Even going back to when I lived in Belfast, I was even badly bullied as well because I was obviously a small pudgy kid and I didn't really bar much, plus because of what I believed in. I used to love wrestling and football and stuff like that, and people used to take the piss out of me. And guys, at the end of the day, bullying nowadays is disgusting. The way people go online, especially now, are cards. I think I've said this before to you many times, that's the reason why I'm not on the likes of Twitter. Not because I can't take criticism, because I just don't like the way the platforms operate. Social media is one of the biggest the biggest things now for bullying. The likes of Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all these different things. And the way the bullying now is, if you don't, in my day, if they didn't like who you were, or they wanted to beat you up, they beat you up. Now they go online and they fucking publicly shame you. By sharing pictures and videos and things like that there. As much as I love the internet, because obviously, the internet's a good thing for us because we build the community here, we've got to meet new people, etc., etc. Ranted about this before. But the internet's also a poison. And bullying nowadays, a lot comes from the internet and beyond. obviously there is still that physicality of being bullied and stuff like that there too as well. And, you know, in my opinion, bullying is disgusting. And as I said to you before, guys, I'm a massive victim of bullying. I never spoke about it until recent years. And finally, when I got older, obviously I've had a couple of run-ins with old bullies and stuff from school, which I've stood up to now. And I'll tell you this for free now, they wouldn't fucking bully me now because I'd kick their ass down the street before they blink. But the way I look at it is, guys, I was always taught when I was a kid, a bully is a coward who cannot stand up to other people and they just want to be centre of attention, and they're just wee arseholes who just love to be thinking the world again spins fucking round them and everything else is about them and stuff like that. But whenever I was a kid, bullying was more physical. Now it's more mental bullying now. And for some of the stuff I've seen online recently, with videos and stories that I read regularly, it's disgusting. And I get a lot of stories sent to me all the time here on the Moore Army podcast from different young ones who I've talked to back again. I've sat and spent time talking to them and trying to give them some advice and stuff like that. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm no expert, but I know what it's about because the bullying that I went through. I mean, I still have scars on my body from being bullied, and also scars in my head from those days. And nowadays, when someone, like for example, we went through a period of time on our YouTube channel where we were getting targeted by a lot of local fucking scumbags, and I'll be honest with you guys, I said nothing for years. I mean, we've had our home attacked multiple times, we've had our windows smashed twice, we've had different things happen, even adults sending young teenagers to go and beat up my kids to get to me because they didn't like our YouTube videos, they didn't like who we were, posting stuff online about us, calling us all these different fucking lies. Like for example, and this is going to turn your stomach if you haven't heard this before, like people posting online calling me a paedophile, calling me a nonce, saying that I'm a bad dad, I didn't feed my kids correctly, you know, all these different things they were saying that I was abusing my children and all this bullshit. But when it came to it, because now the small boy in me the young Matthew sat back and took it for so long because I was used to being bullied. Now I don't take that fucking bullshit. You want to come and try and bully me now, I ain't going to take that shit from you or anybody. And I've done it before, guys. I have people for years when we were going through our really bad family bullying, people were saying like, oh, you've got the platform, you've a big following, expose them, name and shame them, blah, blah. And I said, nope, I wouldn't give them up, blah, blah. But see, now I couldn't give a monkeys. If people try to attack our homes, I have security cameras all around my home. I'll post those videos online and I'll fucking name and shame them. If people go to the point where they try and get to the point where they try to really derogatory name me, like say for example, oh, you're a big pervert, you're a big pedo, blah blah blah, and I know they're a local person or whatever it is, I'll name and shame them. Anybody else comes in and try it like them fucking woke-tards and all them numpties the other day, I'm gonna come back at them and then I'll tell them straight, because bullying, guys, is a thing that I'm a victim of and I will not tolerate. And as I said to you before, I hear these stories all the time from different ones. I've had a few teenagers contact me on Instagram, like during lockdowns and stuff like that, saying they're a victim of bullying online. You know, because there was a lot of young ones during lockdowns that weren't paying attention to all these rules and stuff, and I personally thought the rules were a load of shit, to be honest with you. I've told this before publicly. But because these young lads and girls were staying at home, they were being publicly bullied by these people saying they were this and they were that, and oh, you're in lockdown, going like. These young ones now are like pushing the buttons to the point now where the bullying's so bad that people are taking their own lives. Like for example, last year I was watching a talk show one night and this guy rang in from England. His son took his own life because of a TikTok challenge and TikTok bullying from people where he actually took his own life. You know, bullying nowadays is horrendous and it needs to stop. And there always will be bullying no matter what it is. There's always somebody out there who is just a genuine asshole who wants to be Billy Big Balls or whatever you want to call them. And there's always going to be bullying. But the way I look at it is, bullying should be stopped right away. Because back in my day, people never really spoke up about mental health and bullying and stuff like that. You know, and people should speak up more now about it. You know, because as I said to you before, guys, bullying, my experience of being bullied affected me going into my adult life, where I had a lot of grief and a lot of anger and a lot of issues, which I took out in other people, not physically, but just emotionally and verbally, and kept things locked in and didn't speak up about it. You know what I mean? And I regret that to this day, like shouting at people which I shouldn't have been shouting at, and just being in bad moods when I shouldn't have been, and, you know, all these different things that you do. It's all a learning curve when you're growing up. You know, all these different things. But being as a really bad victim of bullying, you know, there's things that I went through bullying-wise that my parents didn't even know about and still don't know about to this day, which they probably know about now because I just talked about it here on the podcast. But you know what I mean? Bullying now is horrendous, and it needs to stop now. You hear bullying everywhere, even in politics recently. You hear about bullying. You hear about bullying in the workplace. People who think they get a bit of... I've worked in workplaces where people get a little bit of power, and they think, oh, I'm going to walk around now and I'm going to be the boss. And I'm going to... Listen, everybody's got a boss in a workplace, but at the end of the day, you only speak to certain people a certain way. I've worked in places where I've had wee weasel bastards who are bullies trying to bully me, and when they tried to do it to me, like the dumb, say, with younger ones in the workplace, whatever, and I stand up to them and say, well, I don't think so. Nobody will bully me anymore. Anybody who tries to bully me will be told to fuck off. I recently had an incident there about a year or so ago where I had to address the issue, which I'm not going to get into it very much, where someone was just poking at me for quite a wee while, poking at me, and it got to the point where I was literally going to rip that motherfucker's head off. But I tried to be respectful because my son was around that environment as well, and I tried to show him the proper way of dealing with bullies by walking away. But again, this motherfucker just kept poking and pushing buttons to the point where I just literally had to go and speak to someone and say, if he doesn't stop, I'm literally going to kick his ass. And that was the last resort. And that's not a nice way to do it. But again, some of these bullies out there push them buttons to the limit, and that's why I didn't react the way I did. I wanted to try and react the other way, and the matter was resolved and the matter was put to bed. And again, I wanted to set an example for my son. And I did, and I didn't. Now, if I didn't have any kids, I'd have kicked his ass. No, I wouldn't give a shit. But the point is, that's not the way to, and I'll hold my hands up, that's not the way to respond to it. But I responded in the proper way, where I dealt with it properly and showed, obviously, my son how to deal with bullies as well, because Lewis has been a victim of bullying as well recently, in recent years, at school and outside school as well, and Brooke too as well. But again, bullying, guys, I see all these videos all the time online, and I see all this stuff floating around the internet and whatever else, and I look at some of them and I go, even the person who's, like, say, filming someone bullying somebody else, the person even making the video on the phone should be fucking charged as well. You know what I mean? This is what they do now. They film all these things and then they post it around social media and laugh and joke and think it's funny, which is disgusting. So that's why I say now that bullying needs to stop, because it's affecting people to the point where they're taking their own lives, and it's really severely affecting them. And guys, I'll be honest with you, there's sometimes that I do get wee flashbacks from times where it happened to me. And most of the bullies, not them all, some of the bullies I went through with, like, for example, in school, which I always said that I've had to myself for years, they'll either be in jail, always in trouble, or dead. And that's exactly what's happened. A few of them are no longer with us anymore, because they went down the wrong path, whether it be living the life that they shouldn't be living or whatever else, or they're in jail because of their actions. But I always say, bullies are cards. Bullies are fucking cards. You know what I mean? And bullies should be stopped. So, but again, I thought I'd bring this up today because I get a lot of younger ones, especially like teenagers and stuff, saying, oh, you know, I'm a victim of bullying, but I watch your vlogs to help me get through my day, or I listen to your podcast because they make me smile. I had a most recent one there from a young lad from Cambridgeshire, saying he was, what age was he, 17 or 18? He sent me a message, and I don't want to give his name, obviously. I told him I'd mention it one day in the podcast, but I wouldn't give his name. That he got to the point where he wanted to take his own life. You know what I mean? Because of the bullies that he went through in school, primary school, secondary school. Now he's at college and all now, and these people are still bullying him. and they're targeting him online, multiple accounts, telling him because of the way he is and the way he looks, and that they're telling him to go and kill himself. Man, it's fucking disgusting. You know what I mean? These people don't understand that the damage that they're causing. And I, in a way too as well, I blame the parents, because the way they're brought up. If I ever thought for a split second that Brooke and Lewis were bullying somebody, I know I shouldn't be saying things like that, but I always said to Brooke and Lewis, when I worked in a care home, residents used to sit in these wee blow-up rings. They used to sit their backsides on because they either had bed sores or whatever else. I mean, my boot would be so far up your ass, you'd be sitting in one of them rubber rings. And I said to Lewis, if I ever found you were bullying anybody, you wouldn't be out that door for a long, substantial period of time. Like, not like a day or two the way some young people get grounded now. I'm talking months of grounding, like mobile phones taken away, PlayStations taken away, TV, privileges gone, everything, you name it, gone, everything gone, punished severely. Have I ever got a phone call one day saying your son's a bully, or your son's beating up this person, or he's part of a gang around school, whatever, I would go through him like a hot knife through butter. I wouldn't tolerate that bullshit. Now, I know no child's perfect, and my kids aren't perfect. I'm saying that now. My kids ain't perfect by a long shot. But I've heard they're hanging around with these gangs and bullying people and that. Boots the asses, as The Rock would say. And severe grounding. Not talking a couple of days away. Some ones are grounded nowadays. This is the thing that's wrong as well. All these younger ones, when they say, "Oh, I'm going to ground you," and they ground them for like a day and take their phone off them for a day and give it back to them the next day. No. If they're really stepping in a line, fucking punish them. Put your foot down. Ground them for a substantial period of time. For a long, substantial period of time. Give me an example. When I was just coming 16, I went to a friend's house one night, and I remember this like it was yesterday, and I drank about three mouthfuls of cider, and I sat outside our old friend's house in a wee bush just at the front of their house, and somehow fuddy-duddy walking past saw me and my friend, who I've talked about here in the podcast before, who's no longer with us. We were just sitting there on our own, not bothering anybody. There was no smartphones back then, no loud music the way some of them do around the streets and all now. Just sitting there casually. That's how fuddy-duddy thought we were up to something. She phoned the police, and the police came and they spoke to us, and we were like, shit, because back in them days when we saw a police officer, we shit ourselves, and this is where there's no respect now for police officers, because kids don't give a shit now. I actually near pissed myself when the policeman came, and they turned up and they spoke to us, and we were chatting away and all, and everything was good. What we's doing, lads, we're just literally sitting here on this tree doing nothing, just me and my friend just sitting here talking. Oh, for God's sake, right, okay. Have you been drinking? And I held my hand up and I says, listen, we were just in my friend's house there, just literally that house behind you there. I've had 3 mouthfuls of cider. How old are you? I'll be 16 in like 3 months. Right, well, we got to bring you home. I'm like, okay, cool. No problem, officer, dead on, no problem, respectful. Took me to the door. Mum and Dad were obviously disappointed in me because, the police officer, I remember, like it was yesterday, the policeman turned around and said, look, listen, he hasn't caused any problems, he's not causing any trouble, he's not drunk, he's only had 2 or 3 mouthfuls of cider, but because he's just coming 16, we got to bring him home. He's been cool, he's never caused any problems, he was dead respectful to us and all, and he kept calling us sir and officer and all, and everything was dead on about it. That's why you should be speaking to police officers, because at the end of the day, guys, you got to show the authority to the law, a respect to the law, and Mum was alright about it, Dad obviously didn't. My dad grounded my ass for 4 fucking months. I was grounded for 4 months. I wasn't allowed to do anything. He came after school to pick me up, to bring me home, so I wouldn't have any interaction with my friends, only in the classroom. My dad grounded my ass for 4 fucking months over 3 wee tiny mouthfuls of cider. Wasn't drunk. Wasn't causing any trouble, wasn't doing fuck all wrong. And I was in the wrong for it, and I apologised to my dad 10 times a week. Dad, I know I shouldn't have had 3 mouthfuls of cider. I wasn't even tipsy, I wasn't drunk, I wasn't causing any problem. Doesn't matter, you were underage, you done it, you're punished, you're being grounded, end of. And it was all because of somebody fuddy-duddy phoning the police thinking all we were doing was just literally sitting there. And even when the police officers came to us, we didn't even have any drink on us, we were just sitting there chit-chatting. We were just sitting talking, and my friend, God bless his soul, he was smoking a cigarette. He was 15, he was smoking a cigarette, or he was a wee bit older, no, he was about 2.5 weeks older than me. So he was nearly 16 before I was, and he was smoking a cigarette. And the policeman took a cigarette off him because he was, because back then you weren't allowed to buy cigarettes until you were 16. But I mean, come back to that, you know what I mean? It's all about showing it from the day one, the respect, you know, and you learn by your mistakes, and you try and teach your kids the mistakes that you made going up, and not to be a bully, and not to be a bad person, and treat people with respect. And that's the way I try and do with my kids now. You know what I mean? And it's just like, but then bullying just evolves. Comes from obviously the way they're brought up, and who they hang around with, and what they see, and what to see on the internet now as well, which is a fucking nightmare. But I just thought I'd bring up the whole subject of bullying, because again, I get a lot of people over the year here contacting me regularly, just saying that they love the videos, and it just keeps them going through it. And I thought to myself, it just reminds me of me being me, but I didn't have that outlet when I was a kid, guys. I remember sitting in my bedroom many a night in my bedroom, crying, scared to go to school the next day, thinking that I was going to get beaten up again. Like, they used to make fun of me because I was developing quicker than other boys, like hairs under my arms, you know, hairs on my chin, facial hair, whatever, and they used to make fun of me because of that. You know what I mean? It was hard. I had a nickname in high school that really pissed me off, and it was like, really? They ever called me that name again, I'd whoop their ass, because I don't like bullies. I fucking detest bullies. And see, when I get messages from little dicks, like 16, 17-year-olds, and that's exactly what they are. They come into me and go, "Hey, Matthew, we hate you." And I look at them, message. And even when I'm out in the public, I see a crowd of them standing in the shape, "Matthew, man." And there are all these wee voices, and I look at them and go, "Have I ever done that at your age? I'd have got my fucking ass whipped." Wee bullies. That's all they are. And then I meet other ones, again, that they're all not the same. I meet other ones in public, or say at the Belfast Giants games, and they're lovely kids. And they come up and they're like 16, 17, 18-year-old, and they go, "Hi Matthew, how are you? How's it going? You know, Matthew, nice to meet you," and all that. And that's cool. But it's the bullies who you just think they're fucking funny. And I think I told this story before on my YouTube channel of this one young guy who would speak to me now, and at the start he was a wee dick, and he'll be the first to admit it himself. He worked, I actually met him when he got his first proper job after he wised up. He used to come out, he used to walk past my house and shout abuse in, "I'm Matthew fucking Moore, yeah, fucking yeah." He used to shout abuse in the street and all at me. And it got to the point where he just was constantly coming around near my door, shouting stuff, throwing stuff at the house, acting like a dick. And this one time I thought, well, is that right? You want to play ball games, you wee fucker? Let's play ball games. You want to be a bully? Let's be a bully. I sent the police to his door, and I was going to press charges against him because he had attacked my home, verbal abuse, etc., etc. All the evidence was there, and basically that was his wake-up call. Because it was a couple of months later after it happened, I was out walking one day, I saw him, and I thought, oh fuck, here we go. And he came up to me, he put his hand out to me, and he says, "I'm sorry. I am sorry for being a dick. I should have realised I'm 18 now. I need to wind my neck in." This is what he said to me. "I need to wind my neck in. Thank you for teaching me a lesson." And he put his hand out to me. I shook his hand. I'm always believing for giving someone a second chance. I shook his hand, and I says, "Well, don't let it happen again." And he was like, No. He says, "Honestly, I've got myself a job now. I'm doing okay." And that was it. And I thought, we'll see how it goes. Ran into him again, I think it was nearly a year later. I think it was just after COVID, whenever things started opening up after COVID again. He was with a girl this day, and he was like, "Oh, Matthew, how are you again?" And he shook my hand again. He goes, "I've got myself a better job now up in Belfast, and I'm doing really well. I'm earning good money. I've kept my nose clean. This is my new girlfriend." And, you know, he completely changed his whole life around. And I thought, that's pretty cool. So from being some local wee fucking arsehole who thought he was cool and hip and thought he was a bully and blah, 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 to get that wake-up call. Know what I mean? And that's the whole thing. And this is where, in my day, bullies got away with it. And bullies, there wasn't that sort of thing in place now where you could talk to someone or whatever. And when I get all these messages from different people saying about all their different, and not even just like young ones. I've had a couple of messages from adults as well about bullying. Bullying in the workplace. Online bullying. Making fun of people because of the way they look or the way they are. Bullying's a thing, guys, that needs to stop. You know what I mean? It really does need to stop. And again, it'll probably never stop but we can try our best. But again, my advice to people out there who are being bullied is to speak up. You know, if people don't like who you are, then that's their choice. You be who you are. I'm me. For example, I get up every day and I walk around, and I'll be honest with you guys, I get bad anxiety because of stuff that happened to me in the past, like bullying and stuff like that. And there's times I walk past even a crowd of, say, 16, 17-year-olds, and my brain automatically thinks, because for years we were getting nothing but abuse, all I automatically think is, oh, fuck, here we go again. One of them's bound to shout my name. One of them's bound to shout, Murphy. And they don't, and I walk on by and go right dead on. But when they do, I would just sort of go, aye, dead on. You know what I mean? And it's just... bullying's a horrible thing, guys. And again, in closing this subject, my advice to you is if you're a victim of bullying, please speak up. Say something. Don't listen to their crap. Be your own person. If there's something you want to do in this life, and I'll give this for experienced person now as well. Okay, I'm only in my early 40s, but again, I stopped my life to stop my dreams to bring up my children. Now, a lot of you out there probably know that I'm a single dad and I've brought up Brooke and Lewis on my own the last, 10 plus years. All the stuff that I wanted to do in my life, I put on hold for my children. I always encourage people out there who don't have those responsibilities of being a parent or whatever else, or have an opportunity to go and do something with their life and be something better. I always encourage them, go do it. Go be yourself. Don't let anybody hold you back. Don't let bullies run you down. Don't let bullies think they can tell you what to do and what you can't do. If you're sitting there listening to this podcast now and say, for example, you're a student at school or you're a student in college or university or whatever, and you're sitting there thinking to yourself, I want to do this when I leave. When I get older, I want to do this here. What's stopping you? Because of what that bully across the fucking classroom or that bully across the workplace says to you? Oh, you'll never make it. Go and prove them wrong. Bullies are jealous people. Bullies are cowards. So again, in closing, guys, bullying should be stopped. And bullying, again, is a horrible thing. And for anybody who has contacted me about bullying, thank you so much for sharing your stories. And I've obviously spoke to a lot of you. And again, it's a horrible thing to go through because, as I said to you guys, being a victim of bullying, it's not a very nice thing. And it does affect you long term, not just to the short term, depending on how serious it is. And again, bullying should be stopped and you need to speak up. When I tell people I've been bullied, they look at me and go, I'm Matty, dead on me, you've been bullied. I'm fucking telling you, bullying's not a nice thing, trust me. So it's not a very nice thing at all. But if you at all have any stories or anything you want to add or you'd like to talk about, or if any stories you would like me to share on the podcast about it all, drop me an email, mirrorarmypodcast@yahoo.com, or contact me on social media. Because bullying is a horrible, horrible thing and it needs to be stopped in as many ways as possible. Speak up, as the saying goes. Right, guys, I'm going to go into some, before I go to the emails and whatnot, I want to do the jackass of the week. I know, I can't believe I've been only talking for a fucking hour already. It's unbelievable. I did announce before that we won the Jackass week. I did announce last night, guys, on the YouTube channel, that next week Lewis and I have a special surprise for the vlog and for the podcast. All I can say to you is that next week's podcast on Tuesday will be emanating from a different location. What are you thinking? What the fuck's he talking about now? Yes, I will be emanating from a different location. So all I can say to you is now, go to the YouTube channel, Mirror Army YouTube channel, and on Monday morning, well, we'll be doing maybe two vlogs, maybe on Monday. The first one will be dropping probably about mid-afternoon. stay tuned. That's all I'm going to say to you is stay tuned. We have, Lewis and I have a little bit of a surprise. We're going to be doing some different vlogs next week. And more than normal, by the way. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be fun. So it is. All I can say to you is coming from a different location. Now, Brooke won't be there. Brooke's back home here with Mum and Dad at our house. Back home here. So all I can say to you is stay tuned to next week's Tuesday episode of the podcast. Will be recorded from a different location. So, and before you ask, no, I'm not going to the Liverpool game. But just watch and see. Watch the channel. Listen to the podcast. So, it's going to be fun next week, starting Monday. So, it's going to be interesting next week, so I'm looking forward to it. But anyway, let's get into the favourite segment that everybody loves. I asked you on Tuesday to give me some suggestions, and a lot of you did give me suggestions about the Jackass of the Week for this week. A lot of you were saying different people. I got quite a few Scottish people this week actually contact me about Nicola Sturgeon being in it again, her husband. That guy was arrested in the SNP the other day, or whatever it was. He should have been Jackass of the Week. Some people saying Philip Schofield. There's a whole big controversy going around him at the minute, apparently about his brother, but I haven't really been reading much into it, to be quite honest. But there's a load of stuff going on there about Philip Schofield and stuff like that. So I don't know. I'm not getting involved in all that crap because I have my views on that balloon head. But yes, I have made a decision about the Jackass of the Week for this week. So it is now time for the lovely segment that you all love. It is now time for the Moore Army Jackass of the Week segment. There he is. Oh, Boris the donkey. Hello, Boris. Boris the donkey. Now, after a few candidates this week, which a lot of you have been contacting me about, which is great to see, I've come down and I had to give it to this person because they are a complete jackass. So the Moore Army podcast Jackass of the Week for this week is, can I get a drum roll please? Thank you very much. The Moore Army Jackass of the Week for this week is Eldred. What is it? Eldred? Eldred? Whittingham? Is it Whittingham or Whittingham? Yeah. Basically the guy who jumped on top of the snooker table, covered himself in powder, been arrested 6 times, spent time in jail as well for super gluing a handy and painting and more. That is the Jackass of the Week for this week. So there you go. Boris, call it out loud. Say it loud and proud. He's Jackass of the Week. Because of his recent actions at the World Snooker Championship in Sheffield, and then obviously all the stuff that's come out over the last couple of days about this person as well, he is definitely 100% the Jackass of the Week. So there you go. He's a Jackass of the Week because he's a business. He deserves it. Right. Now that's over and done with. Let's get on to a couple of your messages before I head down the road for another episode here. Just let me see if I can get these emails, etc. open now. Right, and let's get into the Instagram first of all here. Right, that's how we look here in Jeffy Joke here and see. Right, here we go. Right, I've one here from Dale. Dale is from London. Hello, Dale. How you doing? Thanks for the question. I appreciate it. Dale says, hi, Matthew. Just came across your YouTube channel last year and noticed you work in local football. Is it grassroots football you work at, or is it at the highest level? I help out with a couple of local amateur sides here in the London area, helping out by doing some social media for them, helping out with the TV guys, etc., to help grassroots football get more notoriety. No, I can't even say that word. Notoriety. I can't even say that word. In other words, I can't even speak. Basically, gets a bit more notice. Notoriety. I can't even. It's one of them words, tongue twister. Just wanted to ask you that because I see you work on local football in Northern Ireland. Thanks for taking the time to answer my email, Dale. Okay. Well, it's not grassroots football that I'm at. We're in the league below the Premier League in Northern Ireland. So the Premier League's obviously your big teams, the likes of the Linfield, Glentorrans, the Larns, the Koreans, the Portadown, Dungannon, Carrick Rangers, all those different teams. We're in the league just below it, which is classed as the Championship. So like in England, for example, you have the Premier League, which is obviously your Liverpool, Man United, Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham's, West Ham's, Newcastle, all them those. And then below that's the Championship. That's the sort of level we're at. There is it's called amateur league football. And then there's mid-Ulster football, and there's all these other grassroots footballs and stuff like that here in Northern Ireland too as well. And then obviously you've got the likes of your youth football, your kids football and all that. There's like a big pyramid of football here all across Northern Ireland. But yeah, God, 13 years now in the Irish League, and it's just went by like that. The years have flown by. I've had a great time so far. I've been part of clubs that have won trophies. Bangor, for example, my first season with them, they won the Steel and Sons Cup, which is a very famous trophy here in Northern Ireland. Back in 2011, the guy who was a very good friend of mine, who I done a dedicated podcast to this past October when he passed away, Frankie Wilson, who was the manager of Bangor at the time, very good friend of mine, passed away in October. Very, very young, too, early 50s, passed away with cancer, which is fucking heartbreaking. Then they won the Intermediate Cup in 2014. They almost got into the Premier League too as well. They lost the Premiership playoff back in 2014 as well. But yeah, I've had some really good fun. I was obviously with the Welders now 5 nearly 6 years. They won the under-20s, won the George Wilson Cup, which was the first time the under-20 side done it, which is another famous trophy here in Northern Ireland, George Wilson Cup. They won that back in 2018 or 18, just before, before COVID actually. But yeah, I've had some good times. I've met a lot of friends over the years in local football. What about yourself, Dale? But I just love football. Absolutely love football. Lewis and I, now that Lewis is involved with me, Lewis and I are up and down the roads every week. Like this Saturday, for example, we're in Fermanagh. Our season ends not this Saturday, but next. I'm still doing some stuff for the under-20s team leading up to the end of their season because they're on the verge of winning the league title. So I'll be covering a couple of their matches over a few weeks as well. But yeah, I mean, the years I've been involved in football, up and down the roads, road trips, great games. I've had some really great games over the years that I've covered. Cup matches, just league games, league deciders, heartbreaking games, cup finals. I've had some really, really good memories over the years. But yeah, it's not grassroots football at the minute I'm in. I'm sort of like in the level just below the Premiership, which was just won there actually last week by Lauren for the first time ever in their history. Fair play to them, Lauren. They're actually getting the trophy tomorrow night, which I'll be watching. So it will be. So fair play to Lauren. Remember going down there years ago when I first started with Bangor and they couldn't get one man the dog through the gate. Now they're getting thousands every week and they're winning Premier League titles and they're playing European football and they're doing really, really well. So the guys who run Lauren now are doing a very, very good job. So fair play to them. But thanks for your email. I do appreciate it. Your Instagram message. Sorry. Thanks for your message. I appreciate it. And hope you're having a good time over there in London, which I can't wait to get to in a couple of weeks with this. Bouncing to get to London. Cannot wait to get to London. Anyway, moving on. Oh, here, speaking of football, I want to give a shout out to one of the Welders' assistants, Filsey, who listens to the podcast. He just told me recently he listens to the podcast. So, Graham Filson, who's an ex-Irish League player, also played across the water for West Ham, played with players like Frank Lampard and Rio Ferdinand. Really good lad, so funny. Such a fucking character. I love him though. He's just a funny character. And he's very, very good with players too as well. How he motivates players and all too, and the way he speaks to players and all. He's just a great lad. And he's got 2 wonderful young lads as well, 2 kids of his, and they're great kids. Unfortunately, they support Wolves. But we'll not talk about that now, Phil, see if you're listening to the podcast. No, big shout out to him because he is a good lad and he listens to our podcast here. So fair play to him. And I'll see him on Saturday in Ballinamallard, of all the places we're going to. Boop, boop. I don't mind going to Ballinamallard, especially the weather's like this today. Moving on to another Instagram message. Oh, see you soon, Philsy. Let's get another one here. Right, let's have another one here from Sharon. I'll double check her name is Sharon because her handle name's really weird. Yes, it's Sharon. Sharon Cormack. Yes, Sharon Cormack. Where's she from? For her profile here. Doesn't say. Sharon Cormack. Hello, Sharon. How are you? Thank you for taking your time to send me a message. Hey, Matthew. Just wanted to say hi to you, and a wee question for the podcast. Been watching your videos now for 5 years, and I've really enjoyed watching your daughter grow up into a beautiful young lady that she grew up into today. She's so kind, well-mannered, and very respectful. We saw her out shopping a few weeks ago in Belfast. We noticed her in Primark. I'll tell her about that when she gets home today. Was going to approach her and say hello to her, but didn't want to creep her out. She seems like an absolute lovely wee girl, and I've enjoyed watching her growing up over the years. All her achievements that she's achieved over the last lot of years, you should be very, very proud of her as her dad. We respect you very much for being there for your children no matter what. Being a single dad must be hard, but again, it's well worth it in the end. You should be proud of your children. They have turned out to be two great kids, and you should be proud of yourself for the job you've done. Just thought I'd drop a wee message and say to you as well, quick question for you. Why do you still support Liverpool? Thanks very much for that. She went in there nice run, then she gave me the question at the end. Why do you support Liverpool? I support Liverpool because I do, that's why. There you go. We're a Manchester United home, but we do enjoy watching your live reaction videos for you and your son. You have a very special bond. We love watching all your videos. Take care of yourself. Fucking hell. Listen, thank you very much for that kind message. I appreciate it. Yeah, I am very, very proud of my babies. When I say I'm proud of them, I'm also heartbroken because they're growing up too bloody quick. You know, I was watching back, was it last week? I was sitting flicking through a couple of the old videos because I was bored one night, and I was watching some of the ones from like 2017, and I'm looking at the kids going, oh my God, where's my baby's gone to? It's... You're going to get me all choked up here now. No, they're great kids, and I wouldn't change them for the world. I'm so lucky that the way they've turned out the way they are, because I've been trying to teach them about being respectful to their elders and say please and thank you, and you know, little things that they do make me proud. Give you an example. Every time, like, say we get a takeaway or something like that for food, or the postman comes to the door or something like that, like if Brooke and Lewis open the door and they go, oh, thank you very much, thanks for that, now I appreciate it, thank you. And if it's night time, if it's a delivery man, they always say, have a good night, be safe, take care. My kids always say that. Or if it's a postman, have a good day, or a parcel man delivering, have a good day now, take care. And when I see things like that, it's unbelievable compared to a lot of ones that I open the door and go, all right, man, yeah, cheers. You know what I mean? And just wee things like that. And then when I go to football on the Saturday, people talk about Lewis, how good of a kid he is and all. Even though he's going through a wee phase, sometimes he can be a grumpy wee shit. You've probably seen him a couple of times in the vlog as well, where he's been a wee bit grumpy, but that's just typical teenagers, like. But we'll say no more about that. We all go through that wee phase. We all went through that phase growing up. But no, I'm very, very proud of him. And especially Brooke now, as I said earlier on, she's working 2 jobs, trying to get her education, and she's busting her hump. You know, all those days I've sat with them at the kitchen table doing homeworks with them and teaching them stuff, and, you know, learning them things, how to be and how to present themselves, and, you know, all the different things that they've done over the years. You know, it's incredible. And I have a library of pictures and videos and stuff that I haven't even shared online, and it's just incredible, the experiences that we've had, especially the last 10 years, you know, since I obviously then had them on my own full time. You know, the memories that we've made over the last 10 years were fucking unbelievable, the memories we have. And we're going to make more memories. And the day when they move out, it's going to break my heart. But that's all part of being a parent. So, but listen, thanks for your message. And yes, I still support Liverpool. So there you go. I'll do one more Instagram before I move on. That was actually a really nice message. That's actually really brightened up my day now, so it has. That's actually really made me smile. Right, let's get on to another one here. Let's have a wee flick through. This is what I love about Instagram, the way you guys contact me. I absolutely adore it. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant, so it is. Right, here's one here from Leslie. Let's have a look here and see where Leslie's from here. Click on the profile. Leslie is from Bath. I'm right? Yes, Bath. Our overseas listener. Hello, Leslie. How you doing? Thank you for your Instagram message. I appreciate it. Let's see what you have to say. Hey, Matthew. Didn't really want to ask a question for the podcast. Just wanted to basically see if you could give me a shout out on the podcast this week, whether it be Tuesday or Thursday. My husband turns 50 next week. Monday coming, what's the dates here? Monday coming, yeah. And I want to see if you could give a shout out to him. He turns 50 and he absolutely loves your Liverpool videos. He's been to one or two games which you've been at Anfield, but I was always looking out for you and never came across you. He's always wanted to meet you for a couple of years. Could you possibly give a shout out for his 50th birthday, as he is a wonderful husband, dad, and soon to be grandfather? Way, happy days. So can you please give a big shout out to my husband Adam, who turns 50 next week? Thanks for that, appreciate it, Leslie. Well, there you go, not a problem. Adam, are you listening? Yes, you, Adam, hello. Happy 50th birthday. I'm not too far off, actually. I'm going to be catching up on you very soon. I'm 42 this year. Yes, happy birthday from your wife, your kiddies, and soon-to-be grandkiddies. You're going to be a granda? God, I remember the day I told my dad he was going to be a granda. He stood in his mum's bathroom, and he was near crying. I told him Brooke was coming. He couldn't believe it. He thought I was joking. Yes, so happy 50th next week. Monday coming. Happy birthday to you. See, every time I hear about the word bath, I always think of the bath. You know, it's just, I don't know, it sounds stupid like, but never been to it. But yes, happy 50th for Monday. Hope you have a great day. Let your family spoil you, because it sounds, from what I can read here in this message, that you're a great dad, you're a great, soon to be a great granda, and obviously a great person overall. So big happy 50th birthday to you, and thank you so much for supporting the channel. And if you are following me on Instagram or whatever, send me a message next time you're in Anfield, and if I'm at the same game, we can hook up and maybe get a picture and have a chat and, you know, just talk about Liverpool or whatever you want to talk about. So yes, have a nice birthday on Monday. I do appreciate all your support. Have a great, great day. And a big happy birthday from everybody here in the Moore Army, Moore family, and also the Moore Army. So thank you so much for all your support, and have a great day. And let them spoil your rotten. So you do. Thanks for your message, for letting us know about his birthday, and have a great... In fact, I'll actually reply to that person today. So, well, I might actually even send him a video message. I sent a video message the other day out to a person the other day, and it actually worked out really, really well. They sent me a message back saying they love it. I love doing birthday messages for people. You know why? People ask me all the time, you know, would you ever do a birthday message from a friend or I've done tons of birthday videos. It doesn't bother me, because at the end of the day, guys, it's them people who watch my videos who help grow our community. And I love doing it. I love giving back to people. Whether it be a wee 30-second happy birthday message or anniversary message or whatever it is. It doesn't bother me. You know what I mean? I love it. I like to hear what people are up to. So anyway, yes, happy birthday from Money On. Have a great birthday. And I hope to meet you sometime down the road. Right, let's get into the Facebook messages. Facebook. Here we go. I'm recording this on this device that I record the podcast on. I've got my laptop to my right, and I've got my mobile phone here sitting in front of me too as well. So I'm trying to sort of balance between all three here. So I should have had them all before I even hit record. I know I always say that every week, like, but hey ho. Right, Facebook. One here from Robert Carson. Robert Carson writes on Facebook. Hey Matthew, how you doing? Just a wee quick message for the podcast this week, or the YouTube videos, if you could possibly give me a shout out. I'm giving you a shout out now. I'm reading your message, aren't I? Just wanted to know. Okay, he sort of stumbled his word a wee bit here. It's all sort of mistyped, and then he's obviously wrote his message below that. It's kind of weird. Strange. Just wanted to know, did you ever play football yourself when you were younger? If so, who did you used to play for? I always wanted to know that. I know you've told your stories before about your days of competing as a fighter stroke wrestler back in the day, but did you ever actually play football yourself? Thanks for taking the time to answer my question. Okay. Apart from that wee bit at the start there where they're all it's like a mistype, and then he's obviously typed his message and then whatever. Anyway, yes. I did play football when I was younger until I got a knee injury when I was 16. I played for the school football team. I played for the BB football team, which is Boys Brigade. And then I played a couple of matches for Castle United, they're called, here in North Down. And then when I was 16, when I got my first job, I injured my knee when I was working in my first job in a furniture warehouse. I actually fell off the side of a lorry and hurt my right knee. I ended up having to almost get surgery on my knee. My knee wasn't the same ever since. And I just stopped playing football altogether, and I ended up just going out and working full time instead. And I wish I had to play football. I always say my contribution to the local game is the media. You know, as much as I wanted to play football badly, like really, really badly, my contribution now to giving back to the game, we'll say because of my knee and stuff like that, would be the media. You know, it's my contribution to the local game. So, yes, I played briefly. Made a couple of substitute appearances for Castle back in, what year would that have been? 96, 97. I was 16 at the time. 16, 17 at the time. So we were talking about 97, 98 maybe. A long time ago. I was actually down at the playing fields. Isn't too far from where I am now. It's obviously all changed because there's a new leisure centre and all there now, because there was old pitches and all there back in the day, but it's obviously all changed now. So, but yeah, I remember playing a wee bit back in the day. I remember playing for the BB one time, scoring a hat trick for the BB one Saturday morning, and we had an ongoing joke amongst the team at whoever scored a hat trick, or sorry, whoever scored whatever had to do it there, where they had like a vest underneath and had something written on it, and I can't even remember what I put on mine, but I scored a hat trick that day. And I remember running away. It was snowing that day as well. It was fucking freezing that day too as well. I remember it like it was yesterday. And I scored that time. I was playing just behind the two forwards, midfield. I think I scored about 15 goals that season from midfield. And then when I played for the school football team, I was a centre half. With a guy who I know very well, who's involved in local football. He was a football manager for a couple of teams here locally in the amateur league levels. Jonathan Busby. And we got the Schools Cup final one time. I got put on the bench for some reason for that game, and we lost it 2-1, and it was a horrible day. We were all upset about that game. But I remember scoring a couple of goals for the school football team as well back in the day. But yeah, I played a few positions. I played goalkeeper for the school, primary school. I done secondary school, I done centre half. BB, I done sort of midfield behind the two forwards. So that number 10 sort of role. But yeah, I love playing football, and then unfortunately I injured my knee, which still sometimes gives me a wee bit of jip, but not too bad. Only problem is I need to get the fucking weight off. I think if I maybe lose a couple of stone, maybe I can take part in some charity games or something. Would love to do that sometime. But anyway, thanks for your question. I appreciate it. Let's get on to one more Facebook message, and then I'll get on to the old email. I've answered the email. I have. I've done Instagram. Just do Facebook here one more time here. Right, I've got one here from Brian. Brian is from Stockport. There's another people from England. I love this. This is great. Brian from Stockport says, "Hi Matthew, I've noticed a lot of people have contacted you on the podcast in relation to your football career and other sporting adventures you've had before. Anytime you're in Stockport, please let me know, as I'm a season ticket holder at Stockport County, and if you'd ever like to come to a Stockport County game, you're more than welcome to come along, you and Lewis. We'd love to see you sometime next season if you get the time to come along and watch Stockport County. Also, I would just like to ask you a question as well as, what is your current favourite movie? I know it's a bit random, but I've been watching a couple of good recent movies and wanted to know what you've been watching yourself recently. Thanks for taking the time for answering my question, Brian from Stockport. Stockport County, that's another one. We were invited this season over to Coventry. I think it was either a supporters group or somebody over there invited us over to a Coventry City game. Also now we've been invited to a Stockport game. You know, all these different people inviting us to come over to these different games, and I would love to. Now, just as you said that, I said these a few moments ago in the podcast about next week's videos. There might be a football video in there next week. Now, it's not a Liverpool game, so you're probably thinking, who's going to Liverpool? No, because Liverpool are away next week. So you might get a wee football vlog in there, just a wee tease for you. Just have to wait and see. Just stay tuned. Anyway, Stockport County. Brian, thank you for the invitation. I appreciate it. Here's the thing. I would love to go and see all these different wee grounds. And, like, for example, when Lewis and I go to London for the first time here in the summer, at the end of June, you know, I send to Lewis about maybe doing a wee tour of the likes of Luton Town and all the other big stadiums in there. But again, We're only mainly in London for the WWE shows, which is the Friday and Saturday night. We're going to London again at the end of August, but we're only going for one night. But I'd love to go sometime where we can spend a good few days in London, where we can do the likes of Tottenham's ground, West Ham, Arsenal, Chelsea, all those other London grounds around that area, Fulham, for example, excuse me. I just love to sort of see different grounds. And then again, we get all these invites from different people, the likes of, say, for example, Stockport County, a couple of months ago, Coventry City. I just... Again, it's to do with our football schedule here in Northern Ireland. And again, if we had a free week, we could maybe go and jump out and do a couple of... I know this guy here from Northern Ireland, you call him Josh Bunton. And he's every time I go on his Instagram, I've known Josh for years. He started off at writing stuff for Lisburn Distillery here in Northern Ireland, and he's now, one week he's at one ground, and then 2 nights later he's at another ground, and then he's at a Northern Ireland game, and then the next minute he's at fucking Sunderland's ground, who he supports, and then the following week he's at Wembley Stadium fucking watching the game or whatever, you know what I mean? It's just, it's a life I'd love to have. So, but thanks for your invitation, I appreciate it. Now, movies, you were saying about movies. I'm not really watching movies at the minute, to be honest with you, Bram, because I don't really have a chance to watch movies. I want to watch that new film, Air. Lewis is banging on my ear about going to the cinema to watch Air. I was watching a TV series, Air. It's a Blue Lights, that one was made over here recently. It's a very good TV show. But movies, I'm not a real big, massive movie buff. But, again, I want to see that film, Air, because apparently it's good. So it is, so... I'll be checking that out very, very soon. So there you go. But anyway, thanks for your question. I do appreciate it. And I'll move on to the next one now. Because I'm going to have to wrap this podcast up soon, guys, because I want them to get out today and have a nice walk in that lovely sunshine before the monsters decide to come home from school. Anyway, let's get into the email. Right, let's have a look. Emails. There we go. It's morearmypodcast at yahoo.com, by the way. You want speak to me on there. Right, let's have a look here and see. Right, one here from Chantel. Hope I've got that right. Yes, it is Chantel. Chantel is from Belfast, a local one. Hey, hello Chantel, how you doing? Hi Matthew, I just wanted to send you a wee quick email to let you know that my 2 kids are absolutely mad about your YouTube channel. We came across your YouTube channel during the first lockdown, and we absolutely adore your channel. We love how you have such a great relationship with your children. We also have a great relationship with your family, and also want to send my best regards to your dad, who recently had his illness, which I'm really worried about your dad. I hope he's doing very, very well. Well, talked about it on Tuesday, Chantel. Dad's doing great, so I've talked about it on the YouTube channel as well. So, just back into the email here as well. She writes, just keep up the great work. Love the run into you one time. We've been wanting to go to a Belfast Giants game. We're not really big hockey fans, but we wanted to go because my wee lad wants to meet you so bad. God love him. My kids are 9 and 7 and absolutely adore you. Could you possibly give a shout out to them, to David and Aisha? Thanks. Keep up the good work, Chantel. David and Aisha, how you doing? How are you? You keeping okay? Thank you for supporting me. I do appreciate it. Yes, if your mummy decides to bring you to a Belfast Giants game, not a problem. Come and say hello. We can have a long chat about whatever you want to talk about. And thank you very, very much for watching our videos. I do appreciate it. Chantel, thank you very much for the email. I appreciate it, darling. I really, really do. It's people like yourselves who make us keep going, keep us ticking, keep people watching our videos. So thank you very much for that. And I'll hopefully get to meet you and your kiddies very, very soon. Thanks for the message. I appreciate it. Right, one more before I go. One more, right. So I have to go. So I want to get out and get this out and get my day started, because I'm looking at that window as I'm recording this podcast and I'm going to myself, fucking sun looks absolutely amazing out there. I want to go out there. Please, no mind luck, I'll walk outside, it'll still be chilly. And not the country. Right, one more. Right, I'll have a look here and see. Right, I've one here from Brendan. Brendan is from Dublin, Ireland. Hello, Brendan. How you doing? Hi, Matthew. Just came across your videos last week. Oh, I just came across this. I noticed you were in Dublin with your brother recently. Been sitting the last 2 days watching all your videos over the years, and I cannot believe I haven't came across your channel till now. Oh, that's awful nice of you, Brendan. Watching some of your old videos from back in the day of your summer holidays and other things that your children have achieved over the years. I cannot believe your daughter sang back in the day in front of 10,000 people at the SSE Arena at the Peace Proms. Myself and my partner have attended a few Peace Proms over the years and think it's absolutely a fantastic show. And to have your daughter part of that is probably one of the proudest moments you've had as being a dad. I can't believe I've only found your channel up until now and will be watching moving forward. Hope you and your brother had a great time in Dublin, even though Dublin, in my opinion at the moment, is a very dangerous place with all these foreigners running around. Ooh, oh dear. But look forward to seeing more Dublin vlogs and more Irish vlogs in the future. Take care of yourself. Keep up the great work. Brendan from Dublin. Well, you're only a new viewer. You got fucking shitloads of videos to watch. There's like 2,300 and something videos on there, and Lewis has a channel, and there's the Red Men Football Adventures channel, and there's fucking how many podcasts have I recorded so far? I can't even remember. Brendan, thank you very much for taking your time to send me a message. Yes, we had a great time in Dublin, apart from Tony fighting with a fucking coffee machine. If you haven't, you probably have saw that vlog. If you haven't saw it, guys, we went to Dublin to see Snoop Dogg about 2-3 weeks ago and put a couple of vlogs up while we were there, and Tony was half cutting trying to use a coffee machine in the hotel room, and it wasn't working. Trust me, he's a tit. But yes, Brendan, I've been to Dublin a couple of times in the vlogs. I've been there for Liverpool pre-season games. I've been there for trips away. I've been to just random stuff in Dublin. I've been away to see concerts and shows and things like that. So yeah, Dublin is a lovely spot, and there's so much more in Dublin I want to do. So I will be back very, very soon. Don't you worry about that. Right, I'm going to go, guys, because as I said, you've been talking here for like an hour and a half this week. So I will respond to a lot more of these on social media over the weekend. My plans this weekend are as follows. Friday, tomorrow, I have a few wee things on tomorrow. I'll probably get a vlog done tomorrow at some point. I'll not probably not be doing. I don't know if I go out for a walk today. I might do one. I'm out walking today. Check out last night's vlog, a charity hockey game. Great night in Belfast. It was very, very good. So it was. The weekend, I'm away to Fermanagh to Ballinamallard. Yes, we were there a lot of weeks ago in the freezing cold. Lewis and I'll be heading down there tomorrow. I'll hopefully get a vlog done while I'm down there, because I love Ballinamallard. I love Fermanagh. It's a lovely place down there. I'm heading down there really early on Saturday morning, so up bright and early. And then Sunday, I think I'll be watching some football on Sunday, and I've got a few other bits and bobs on over the weekend too. And then, guys, next week, as I said to you, you have to see the vlogs next week. Trust me. You are going to love the vlogs next week. Believe me. You do not want to miss them. Not telling you where I'm going yet, but you'll see. And no, I'm not going to the Liverpool game. I wish. So stay tuned, guys. But anyway, on all seriousness, have a lovely weekend yourselves, no matter what you're up to. Have a great one with your family, friends, whatever you're doing. If you're attending the local football game this weekend, enjoy it. If you're attending an event or a concert or doing something that you love to do, go and enjoy yourself, be yourself, and don't let anybody hold you down. As I talked about earlier on here in this podcast, about bullying and stuff like that there. Don't let anybody hold you down. Be yourselves. Don't listen to the police. They're not worth it, trust me. Have a great weekend, guys. And once again, thank you for all your support. And I'm going to go now and get myself out to this lovely weather at last, because no, my luck, tomorrow or Saturday I'll wake up and it'll be pissing out of the heavens. Typical Northern Ireland. Rains 80% of the year, maybe more. If you're listening to this podcast, guys, on Spotify, Apple Music, or TuneIn Radio, please add us to your favourites. If you're listening to us on YouTube, please subscribe and drop a like on this video. Also, if you're listening to us, I'm going to put this on the Facebook fan page as well. If you're listening to us on the Facebook page, drop a like on it, please. Like the page, please. A lot of you follow it, but don't fucking like it. Like the page. All the usual stuff. Thank you for all the streams and downloads. I do appreciate it. It means a lot to me. Right, I'm going to go. Have a great weekend, guys. Enjoy the nice weather while it lasts here in the UK. I'll see you back here on Tuesday from a secret location from unknown where. You'll see, trust me. So until next Tuesday, guys, have a great weekend. I will see you all then, and stay tuned for the vlogs coming up over the weekend as well. Till next Tuesday, guys, have a great weekend. See you all soon. Thanks for listening.